at the European Foundation for Democracy. He joins us by Skype from Brussels. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with these over 6,000 arrests now. How is that being taken in Turkey?
Well, this was in a way expected, and the problem is, of course, majority of the Turkish society, including political parties, civil society, journalists, they were all against this coup attempt. And then, of course, we were expecting that there will be consequences of this. But, of course, we will need to see to what extent it will go, because at the moment, very quickly, the last 24 hours especially, there is a crackdown on the judicial system. There are many arrests also within the army system as well. And there are also arrest warrants on the members of the Supreme Courts in Turkey. So we need to see whether they are all linked indeed to this coup attempt in Turkey, or Erdogan is using this as an opportunity indeed to crack down on all opposition figures within the state apparatus in different organizations.
Well, what did people think? They came out on the streets after he made that appeal on FaceTime for people to come out on the streets. It surprised many people, and it still continues to surprise them, that there's been this sort of support for Erdogan, even if it was anti the coup. But why did they fear the army so much when the army sort of placed themselves as a bastion of the secular constitution?
Well, we need to see, first of all, there are different groups and they were against the coup d'etat, and there are different reasons behind it. And of course, we don't know either what part of the military indeed organized this coup. There are claims, of course, coming from the government that the main organizers are linked to the Islamic cleric Gülen and the controversial Islamic movement, Gülen movement, headed by Gülen. So we cannot really claim that those people were out in the streets just because they were thinking that the secular army making a coup against a rather conservative government. So it is a bit confusing in that sense. On the other hand, the other parts of the society were clearly against indeed this coup, and it was remarkable to see all those people indeed who are against the government and who are criticizing the government and Erdogan on a regular basis. They were the ones clearly standing against this coup. I mean, all those political parties, opposition parties, they united against the coup. CNN Turk, for example, it was one of the TVs indeed regularly attacked by the current government, but supporters of the government. They played a key role. I mean, Erdogan connected on TV, on FaceTime, on CNN Turk, and it was one of the breaking points while he was calling in those people to streets. And I think it was very good those streets were full of those people, but we need to also understand the profile of these people, because while some of them were certainly not violent, there were certainly also some extremist elements, radical elements within those groups. And we saw very disturbing scenes, and it's very disturbing for the majority of Turkish society now that some of those groups indeed were chanting for Islamic State, for radicalization, for Islamist regime. And then there was even one soldier that was decapitated by one of these groups. So it's very difficult to say that they were really there because they are in favor of democracy. Just being against the coup is not automatically making you a Democrat. And that's why we need to see now the next steps of Erdogan. I think there's a good chance to bring back the democracy in Turkey and strengthen. But on the other hand, probably Erdogan is not seeing it in that way, and may use this as an opportunity indeed to increase his power and even change the regime and bring the long-awaited presidential system. He was calling for this system, a centralized system, giving him the absolute power in Turkey, controlling judiciary, political system, but army as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Demir Murat Seyrek, a senior policy advisor at the European Foundation for Democracy. Thank you for talking to us this afternoon.